Hi guys, a second extra video this week. Like I said, we've obviously touched on what we've touched on already this week, but this one is about the international break. Now, obviously, Grimsby's game has been affected by international call-ups this week, and just so people don't think I'm doing it just strictly because Town haven't got a game. You're seeing a lot more lower league games now in League One especially, but every international break there seems to be a team or a couple of teams that are having games called off because of international call-ups. So it shows you that going further down the pyramid more now, there is more likely to be international call-ups happen. I believe it was last international break, 2/3 of League One were called off because of international breaks. So the question I've got for fans really all over is, especially of lower league teams, is should now the international break be a blanket break where all 72 EFL clubs, you get it in the Championship obviously, but should that now at least have the discussion of maybe making a blanket international break? Some people may say, well, there's not enough games called off in the second division to justify that. No, but there are at least a game or two each international break that ends up getting called off, and especially in League One. So to stop any kind of upset, because I know Cambridge fans weren't necessarily happy with the fact that our game with them got called off due to international call-ups, but it made me think you're starting to see it more every season now of teams that aren't in the Championship and aren't in the Premier League starting to get more players going away with their international teams. So do you think that at least a discussion needs to be had about dropping all club football during international week? Because then you don't get teams with having games in hand, when you could say, well, no, throughout the whole of the 10 days pretty much, 3 times a season, no league football gets played for those 10 days at any level of the Football League. So from Championship down to League 2, then you can equate for that maybe, to go, well, these 3 or 4 periods, I think it's 3 a season. There is no games take place. Like I said, I understand at the moment that maybe the EFL and FA would look at that and go, there's not enough games called off in League 2. But I did know last season, during, I think it may have been the last international break, where 3/4 at least of League 1 was called off due to international breaks. I think there was only about 4 games that went ahead. So a majority of the League 1 programme was called off. We've had a couple of games off in previous international breaks in League 2. The first time Grimsby's had an international break as what one is. But I wonder now, because more internationals are going in to the Football League, and not just the top, not just the Championship, and obviously the Premier League, they have the international breaks. But you're getting it more in League One, and you're starting to find it more in League Two. That should it now be a blanket where there's no Football League action over international break, because then you're not going to get, I suppose, clubs upset that they're fine to go but another team isn't, so their game's having to get called off because of that. Whereas if you did a blanket postponement for those 3 periods during the season, the clubs know, right, these are the dates where there is none. My personal opinion, it needs to be thought about, because there are more clubs at lower level now having international players that are going away with their teams. And I don't think people would mind. I think if it was a blanket postponement where everyone knows for those 3 periods nobody plays. For those 3 periods in the season nobody plays. Or at least nobody plays league games. For 3 10-day periods. I understand the EFL play more games than the Premier League. But maybe it's time to have that discussion. And that's what I'm having with you guys today. And this isn't just for Grimsby fans, it's for everyone in, I would say the bottom 2 divisions of the Football League. Should we have an international break fully where no club plays an international break? No professional team in the 4 main tiers of the Football League, including the Premier League, should international breaks go blanket? Because then you've got no chance of any fan being annoyed, any notice of, oh, well, we could play but this team can't play because they've had the call-ups. Nobody plays. And it'll be interesting to see what people honestly think about that. I don't know at the minute where the EFL and the FA and that would go for it, because their argument would be, well, there probably isn't enough teams, especially probably at League 2 level, that have enough internationals. But I do think, especially over the postponements in League 1 in recent international breaks, that maybe it needs to start to be looked at to make it where no teams in the top 4 tiers play for 10 days. Then no one feels like they've got an advantage. No one's missing games. No one, fans know, well, this is a period where we don't have any. Or would they want it where it has to be half your first team squad has to be on international duty, or you have to play it? This is an interesting debate, this one, which I want people to answer that honestly in this debate. Should international breaks now go blanket, where in the Football League generally, should there be a full international break where nobody plays? I think it's heading in that direction. I would think it has to be probably considered. Whether there'll be enough at our level right now, the level my club plays at, whether it would be enough right now to justify that. But in recent international breaks, it definitely decimated League One. So, would it be a thought on doing that? My thought is it may have to get brought in, which I would be actually all in favour for. I would be all in favour of no one playing over international break. Because I do understand that it can be frustrating how, especially at our level, where one team can have a game called off with 1, 2 or 3 international call-ups. But you couldn't do that if it was 2 or 3 first team injuries. You couldn't do that. And I had this kind of thought in my head with the lads that's gone on international duty for Grimsby, Gazzatori, Clark-Adore and Judson Bell. If they'd have been three injuries, would we have had the game called off as well? Probably not. We'd have probably had to have carried on. But like I said, I believe last season Notts County versus Walsall got called off because of international call-ups. I think that was for both sides, if I remember correctly, but it got called off. And I think I know Mansfield have had a lot of their games in recent international breaks called off. And like I said, I think it was the last international break, or in recent international breaks, League One have been decimated because of it. So, is it time that it's at least discussed? What does everybody think? Should it happen? Should there be talks now of a complete blanket international break? So, no fans are going to be disappointed. No frustration, because you know during those 3 blocks of dates, there's no football. There's no club football at the top 4 tiers. Interesting debate. I'd like to know what you guys honestly think about this, and whether you think it should, or whether, if not it should happen, should it at least be discussed. Be interesting to see what you guys think. Let me know down below your thoughts on this. I really am intrigued on people's opinions on the international break and what they honestly think and believe. But let me know down below and all over social media what you honestly think to this. Should there be a blanket international break at all top 4 tiers of English football during the international breaks, which already affects the Championship and the Premier League? Should it be all the way down to League 2 as well? Interesting to let me know. Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that bell button. That'll let you know when I upload some new content. But in the meantime, guys, I will see you guys in the next one, which will be, of course, it will be my score predictions for the weekend's games in League 2. And I'll be back with that very shortly. And we'll see what my thoughts are for the games coming up this weekend that do go ahead in Sky Bet League 2. In the meantime, guys, up the Mariners, and I look forward to the answer to this. Should international breaks now become blanket from Premier League down to League 2? Let me know down below what you think, and yeah, it should be an interesting debate. See you guys soon. Ta-ra for now.